All right, what's up, guys? Vivi back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out green, yellow, Arlong. That's right, we got a spicy leader for today. A very off-meta, very underrepresented leader for today. So, yeah, you guys see what you're getting into. Let me go ahead and give you guys a quick layout so you know exactly what we're getting into. I'll have everything timestamped in the comment section below. But first up, we're going to check out two deck lists from the East, from OP-06 and OP-05, using this leader. And then we're going to check out a deck list from the West, from just recently from the Oviedo, Florida regional. They got top 32. We're going to be checking that list out at the end of these. Excuse me. Then we're going to go over 3 games on the sim, and we'll finish off with the deck list that I'm using, which is just the Oviedo, Florida one, and we'll talk about it. Final thoughts, wrapped up from there. So, guys, you know what you're getting into. Let's get into this. Let's dive into this. Spoiler warning, we will probably be talking about some stuff from OP-07 to improve on the list in the future and things like that. So there you go. Now, before I launch into this, I do want to give 2 primary concerns that I have for this leader going forward, and it's outside of our hands. It's in Bandai's hands. It's not a matter of something we could do. It's something Bandai's going to have to be competent enough to see and address if they want this leader to get better. Because, I don't know, you guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below, but I think, typically speaking, Bandai does try to retroactively fix leaders and types. At least that's what I've seen. Or who knows, maybe it just happened by chance. But I do feel like they go back and try to fix leaders by printing them like specific leader-locked support if a leader's underperforming. And I think this leader is due for something like that in the near future here. So hopefully it gets it. Okay, so these are my 2 concerns. Let me read the leader card, and I'll talk about it from there. So it's a 5,000 power, 4 life, green, yellow, multicolored leader. Dawn ×2, when attacking, pay 1. Play up to 1 character card with a cost of 4 or less with trigger from your hand. The effect is fine. Like, that effect is absolutely fine. But my problem is this. If they're going to print more trigger cards in the future that really help this card out, they're going to have to find a way to leader lock it to Arlong. Because if they don't do that, well, then it just helps every other green deck or every other yellow deck because this is a green-yellow leader, right? So any leaders that are already being used in yellow, like Enel, or green, like with Jewelry Bonnie, they're going to use those cards and benefit simultaneously with Arlong, and they're already being played more than Arlong. Do you see what I'm saying? And that goes directly into my second problem, is green-yellow is already being used by a very, very solid leader, right? Green-yellow Yamato. And green-yellow Yamato is about to get some very, very strong support coming out in OP-07 with the Land of Wano 1-cost 2,000 counter searcher, Otama. So those are my 2 major concerns. Number 1 is anytime they print a trigger, it will benefit other decks as well, unless they somehow leader lock it to Arlong. And then number 2, this already shares a color pool with a deck that is a little more versatile and I think has a little more genericness to it, where it can just benefit from all the cards in the color pool more than Arlong can. Because green-yellow Yamato doesn't require any kind of trigger cards. It just benefits from them if they come out and they're good enough. This is the same plight that Blue-Black Rebecca had, right? Like, Blue-Black Rebecca had the exact same problem, where it's like, why play Blue-Black Rebecca when Blue-Black Sakazuki already exists? And it's just more consistent. It's a little more powerful. The leader can attack. It has a lot more going for it. And again, that's not to say that Blue-Black Rebecca is bad. It's just that if you're trying to be more competitive and you want a list that can take you somewhere in a tournament, then if you're playing the Blue-Black card pool, Sakazuki will be the natural decision. And if you're playing the green-yellow card pool, then Yamato becomes the natural decision. So they're going to have to print more leader-locked material, I think, to help leaders like Rebecca and to help leaders like Arlong. So those are my 2 concerns there. Hopefully they made sense. And like I said, guys, tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Okay, so let's dive into these lists from the East. We're looking at 2 lists from the East before we get into the one from the West. So I'm just going to run through this and we'll talk about it. Excuse me. This was just a small 18-player tournament, but still first place at an 18-player tournament. 4 Crackers, 4 Brulees, 4 Zoro, 4 Onami, 4 Kikinojo, 4 Hiyori, 4 Izo, 4 Momonosuke, 3 Karubi, 2 Hachan, 3 Zoro, the 9-cost Zoro, 4 Arlong, 4 Vanderdecken. This is a very interesting card we'll talk about in a second. And 2 Hody Jones, a nice little finisher card. So you see what's going on here, guys. Just let's see how many counters and how many triggers they have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that messes up the math there. We'll say 6, 7. So 7 times 4 is 28 plus 1, 29. So there's 29 triggers in the deck. That's a lot of triggers, guys. It's also running a very strong Land of Wano package where you can search up most of this with Momonosuke. Okay, good stuff there. Now, Onami she is Straw Hat Crew, just for those who are wondering. This is not a Land of Wano card. Zoro is, though. Zoro is Land of Wano and Straw Hat Crew, so he is searchable. Crackers, of course, Big Mom Pirates. Same with Charlotte Brule. Izo is Land of Wano. Zoro is Straw Hat Crew. And, yeah, then we got a little bit of Fishman Pirate support down here with Arlong. If you don't know what this card does, this card is very, very strong. It is a 4-cost, 6,000 power character that has on play, discard a card from your hand, and up to one of your opponent's rested leaders may not attack until the end of their next turn. Okay, so understand what this does. Any kind of leader that your opponent has that has a win attacking effect, or that goes really big when they attack, like something like Whitebeard, something like, or, you know, Edward Newgate, I meant to say, or like Red Purple Luffy, or how's about Black Yellow Luffy? Any of these leaders that go really, really tall, you can shut them down one turn with one of their attacks with this card. And that is more devastating than you might think. This is a very, very strong card. And it's a 4-cost 6K, so even if you don't want to use the on-play effect, you can cheat out a 4-cost 6K with your leader's effect, right? Make sure you understand what this effect does. So very good stuff there. Vanderdecken, like, we got to spend a second talking about this card. Really pay attention to how strong this card is, like what kind of potential this card has. It's a 2-cost, 2,000 power card with a 1K counter, and then it says you may trash a Fishman type card from your hand, or trash a Noah's Ark, but we're not running that in this deck, from your hand or field, and then KO up to one of your opponent's rested characters. So later in the game, if, like, say your opponent doesn't have a win attacking, you know, leader effect, and you're not really worried about the leader attacking, well, later in the game, you can KO any of their rested characters with this card. And there's a combo you can do with Hody Jones where it's like, okay, when, you know, for 9 Dawn, like, hear me out, for 9 Dawn, you can play out Hody Jones, rest any of their characters that are not already rested, and KO them with Vanderdecken if you can trash a card from hand like Arlong. Arlong, Karubi, Hachan, and I think that's it. So all together in the deck of Fishman cards, there's 4, 8, 10, plus 5, 15. There's 15 Fishman cards in the deck. Y'all help me out if I missed one. Okay, so pretty good stuff there. And then it has a really strong finisher in Zoro. Like, this card can just finish games all by himself. This card is so powerful. And then there's also Hody Jones as a nice, like, execute. Like, oh, okay, if you see the opportunity, you can sneak a win with this card. Very strong. Okay, and it is running the Land of Wano stuff here. It's got Kikinojo and Hiyori. So that's a really nice combo there, getting cards from your life potentially. Because that's the nice thing about Arlong, right, is you have all these trigger cards in your deck, so you have a very high potential to get trigger cards from your life. Then, even if you don't get the trigger cards from your life, and say you got Kikinojo in hand, well, you can swing for 7 with your leader and cheat this card into play. So very, very powerful effects there. And one thing I've said, I was actually talking to my local guys about this. I think I was talking to Preston and Sebastian. So if you guys are listening, shout out to y'all. We were talking about how if Arlong high rolls, like if Arlong has 4 character triggers in his life, and he just gets a solid start with Kikinojos and things like that, this is one of the strongest decks in the game if you high roll, like, specifically. It's one of those situations where it's like, hey, if you roll the dice and you're coming out on top, you know, you might have a really fun time playing this deck. Because imagine if you go, you know, so let's say you do want to go first with this deck. Let me say that up front, guys. You do want to go first. So let's just say, like, on turn 1, you know, play out a Dawn, maybe play out Momonosuke. It doesn't matter, but just pass, right? Turn 2, use your leader effect to cheat out, like, Cracker, right? I mean, it could be any of these cards. It could, you know, it could be Arlong. It doesn't really matter. Just one of these cards, just cheat him out with Cracker, or cheat him out with Arlong's effect. Then, let's say they attack into you, and you get a Kikinojo out of life, and then the next turn you get, like, you know, this deck's not even running Satori, by the way, but let's just say you get some other card out of life, you know, whether it be, not this one, Kikinojo, Cracker. Actually, this list is only running a few. This list is only running a few cards you can get out of life. Well, I guess it can get Hachan. It can get Hachan as well. But just imagine you just keep getting characters out of life. That becomes very, very hard to deal with for your opponent if they're not running a lot of removal. Okay, so that's the first list we're going to look at. Next list is right here. And this one is from all the way back in November of last year. And again, this is in the East. So this was quite some time ago. This was OP-05. And this list is running lots and lots of triggers as well. I'm not going to go through every card. Instead of running the Land of Wano stuff, this is running the Sky Island stuff. Or at least, you know, a little bit, where it's got Ohm. It's got the Holy package there. It's got Shuro, Satori, things like that. Pretty good stuff. Everything else is pretty similar. It's running the Mihawk combo, where you can go turn 1, or, well, turn 2, excuse me. Turn 2, if you don't have the best combo with hand, or from your hand to use out with Arlong, you can go, potentially, turn 2, play out Draco Mihawk, which can play a 4-cost or lower slash character. Well, guess what? Ohm's a slash character, which could potentially play out Holy. So, like, on turn 2, you might be able to swing for 5 and establish 3 bodies on the board. And, you know, that can go a long way, because you could aggressively counter out to save them if they're not running removal, and you can go from there. So really good stuff there. You have a lot of ways to get cards in from your trigger zone, or from your life triggers. You've got Charlotte Crackers, you've got the Brulees, the Sanjis, Satoris, and Hachan, and Chu. Chu's a little bit smaller of a character, but it can pop a 4 or less rested character on play, and then Karubi, we already know what he does. Okay, good stuff there. You got. Hopefully y'all see what's going on. If you have any comments or questions, please put them down in the comment section below. But both versions are pretty good. We got a general idea of what's going on, though. Now, real quick, definitely go check out Small Hat Crew. I will leave a link down in the comment section below. I'm sure anyone who watches my channel also watches Small Hat Crew. They've just got some really good stuff, guys. And if you check out right here, like under their videos, this first ever Arlong Top 32 deck list and interview with Alex Barbosa. Definitely check that out. Y'all see where my mouse is on the screen? Sorry, let me make sure my head's not in the way. Yeah, definitely check this out, guys. Big shout out to Small Hat Crew. I got to meet these guys when they were down in, I think they live down somewhere near Orlando. But when I went to the Orlando regional, the Kissimmee regional, I got to meet Brandon and Chris from Small Hat Crew. I think I saw Manny there as well, but I didn't really get to talk to him much. Or I don't think I got to talk to him at all. But, you know, really awesome guys there. Really cool people. So check them out. And if you do check out their video here, it'll have, like, you know, the whole deck list and all that good stuff. And I'll have the deck list at the end of the video, because this is the list that I'm running for my games today. All right, now one more thing, a little bit of extra spoiler stuff here. I put out a video yesterday talking about Mono Black OP-07 Lucci. I'm just giving you guys a quick warning. The prices are starting to go up on some of the core cards in this deck. Kaku is up to almost $5 now. So if you do not have your 5-cost Kakus and you plan on playing, what's it called? Plan on playing CP9 or CP Rob Lucci in OP-07, now might be your time to pick these cards up. Khalifas are cheap, Spandams are cheap, Innie's Lobby's like a common event or stage. That thing's super cheap. Rob Lucci's still cheap. Now's your time to pick those up while they're still pretty affordable. Same thing with Isho. A lot of lists are running Isho. Maybe pick up 2 of these when you get a chance. These are climbing up to $5 as well. So you got to keep an eye out for that, for stuff like that. Okay, now let's dive into the video. Again, one more shout out to the Small Hat Crew. These guys are just absolutely amazing. They've got some really good stuff going on their channel, guys, where they have, like, you see on the thumbnail that's playing right now, it's more of like a talk show type thing. They've got some really cool stuff coming. You know, keep an eye on them. Okay, now let's move into the games. First game here, let me hit play. Actually, let me not hit play yet. Let me enlarge the screen, move my head out of the way. There we go. Okay, first one up here we got against Nefeltari Vivi. Let me make sure the speed's at 2x as well. All right, we're good. So this, I'll show the list at the end. Sorry, guys, kind of did a tease right there, but I'll show the list at the end. So right there, I swing for 7, and I play out a Kikinojo for free. Right, that's the potential this deck has, is to be able to cheat cards out like this. So right here, I go ahead and play out the Karubi to tap down the Shiraya, so that way he can't block with it, and now I can actually smash into it with my Kikinojo. He's not saving that. He'd have to drop 3 cards from hand to save that. Now, Nefeltari Vivi, excuse me, in OP-07, I think Vivi is actually, I think Nefeltari Vivi in OP-07 will actually be playable. Okay, I'm gonna put it in the B tier. Like high B, low A tier. It's just getting enough stuff to, like, stall the game out now and go from there. And in OP-08, I actually think someone else on my channel in the Discord channel. Guys, come hang out on Discord with us if you're not already, if you're not already on there. Someone from the channel, I think it was Bonk or Boros, I think it was Bonk, said, you know, Nefeltari Vivi is going to be able to use the new OP-08 Rayleigh card. It's going to be really good, trust me. And I think they're right. I think they're right, because if you could just go turn 3... I'm sorry, guys, I got to pause. I'm not even talking about the game right now. If you go turn 3, the new Boa Hancock, the 6 cost that makes a character not be able to attack, and then bottom deck a 1 cost or lower, if you use that on turn 3, if you're playing second, and then turn 4 play out Rayleigh to slow them down again, and potentially pop cards and do whatever you need to, whew, that could be very solid. And on turn 5, like when you have 10 Dawn, I'm pretty sure, I'll have to reread what Nefeltari Vivi does, you'll be able to give Rayleigh Rush that turn and draw a card, right, with Vivi's effect. There's some potential there. All right, let's keep going. Sorry, guys, I got a little bit sidetracked, but I do think Nefeltari Vivi, I might have to do a video on her very, very soon, on Red-Blue Nefeltari Vivi in the very near future here. Okay. So, all right, let me get us caught up. Sorry. So what happened here is I'm just playing out cards. I think I got 1 card from my life, and the Nefeltari Vivi player is starting to put cards down as well. But they started swinging at life instead of my board. Is that what happened? I'm sorry, guys. I do have to go backwards a little bit. Okay, so here's what they did. Yeah, play. All right, I play out Hatchan, swing 7, pass the turn. That's what happened, and I'm pretty sure one of these guys I played out from hand. It must have been the Zorro. Okay, so he plays out ulti, gives it rush, swings at life. That is very risky against Arlong, right? So I get a life trigger. It's a Nekomamushi, and it's like, okay, man, you know, here we go. I'm going to keep attacking. I'm just going to go pedal to the metal straight at you. So swing 7 at face, play out Kikanojo. If that card gets KO'd, I gain a life. I've got a 4-cost 6K on the board now. He does get a Bad Manners Kick Course off the top to give my Nekomamushi minus 3,000. But I'm not really worried about that either, right? I'm not too concerned about that. So we'll swing 5 into life here. Probably going to do like he has 2 Dawn active. So yeah, Happiness Punch, -1 there, -2 there. Always make sure to see where they put the -1 and the -2, because they get spread across multiple bodies. Okay, so right here, I'm just going to load it up on Zorro, I think. We'll swing in for 5, or 6, excuse me. We'll swing in for 6 and see what we get. Okay, get a Sasuke out of his hand. And we're still pretty good. I've got 8K encounter in hand, and I'm not afraid to use it. You know, and if he swings at life like he's doing now, I just feel like this is a little bit crazy. But at the same time, my board is full, so I don't want to get a trigger because it might get rid of one of my characters. Okay, taking out my character, I'm fine with that. Bouncing that card back to my hand, fine with that, because I can play it for free next turn still. And that Soga King, he just gave rush, and he's swinging 6 into 3. Seems good. Like, that was a very nice turn from Vivi, from the Nefeltari Vivi player. I'm going to play out my Kikanojo for free again, swing 7. Now, he's at 5 Dawn, or excuse me, 5 cards in hand. So this might have been a good turn to start attacking into his characters. However, I do want to play out the Django here. I want to stand up my Arlong, swing 7 more, play out another character. So I got to use my leader's effect twice that turn. Understand that Arlong is not a once per turn when attacking. It is a when attacking 2 Dawn attached, pay 1. So if you can stand him up, you can do it twice. Okay, so I just countered out of everything super aggressively there. Now we are all in. We're going all in on our opponent here because we don't have enough to survive, really. Like, that's what's going on. So right here, I can't decide if I wanted to load everything up on one character, but looking back, I don't think I should have. Like, I think going 7s across the board here was the way to go. Because right here, even if he gets the Radical Beam, which he had, he still can't take me out, right? He has to connect every one of his attacks to win this game. I have 3 life. Excuse me. He has to make every one of these hit and have a card in hand that can also get rush and win. And it's like right here, I can actually counter out, and I'm doing the math. That was a little bit risky, but it's like, okay, when you swung 6 there, I knew he had another Marco in hand because he had 7 Dawn active, 5 to play the Marco, 2 to give it rush. So it's like, okay, you're going to swing 6. I'm going to counter out of this. We're just going to call it a day. And that was game. That was a fun one. Arlong has a very strong tempo. I will say that. All right, next game we got blue, green, Zoro, and Zonji. This is a pretty fun one here. This is one of my favorite decks. Those who follow the channel know I absolutely love the way the blue, green, Zoro, and Zonji plays out. Whoops, gotta go up to 2x speed. Let me adjust my camera. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. All right, so he plays out Duval, sets his top life cards, or not top life, sets his top the top 3 cards of his deck. I'm swinging for 7. I'm throwing out a cracker for free. That is so nice, guys. This deck is very much like green and yellow's version of the OP-01 blue Dofi, which I should have a video coming out on Dofi very soon as well, guys. That leader is nice. That leader is very nice, especially in OP-07. But we'll talk about that in another video. So he swings in for 6, pulls back a card, stands up his Zoro. Now, I have less life than my opponent here, so my cracker will get Dawn ×1 and double attack, or plus 1,000 power and double attack if I attach a Dawn. So for a 1 Dawn investment, I just swung for 7 at my opponent with double attack. He's going to give me the blocker there for sure. So right here, I swing for 8, play out my Kikanojo for free with my leader's effect, and he's probably going to take this. I really need him to take this so that my Kikanojo is turned on in case he KOs this turn. Okay, so he plays out the Duval, and he's going to set the top 3 cards of his deck. And he has a card right now on the board that is very strong. For those who are not aware of what Zoro does, the 4-cost 6k Zoro on my opponent's side, that card has Dawn ×1 when attacking, not once per turn either, rest a 4-cost or a 6-cost or lower character. Now, I'm not going to let him have it that easily. And since he didn't stand up his Zoro, I saved that card completely. Now I can start getting a little more, you know, mileage from these cards here. I'm going to swing 8 into 6. He's probably going to block out of this or 2k, 1k. We'll see what he does. I would just use the blocker here if I'm the Zoro player, but I don't know what's in his hand, and I don't know what he saw from the top of his deck with the Duval Search. Okay, well, I'm still going to do what I said. I'm going to slam this card out, play out a Neko Mamushi. He uses the blocker, and this is not, I'm not safe just yet, right? Because this turn, he could take like 3 life off me if he really wanted to. Because he could go 7, what is it, like 7, 8, 7, or 7, 8, 8, or something like that if he wanted to. It could be very dangerous here. So he plays out Sanji. He's going to swing 7 into, let's see. Now, he should probably go for face here. I think that's his best bet. Yeah, because swinging 7 into 6, I can easily 2k counter out of. Okay, he swings 6 into life. Looking, I don't know. Yeah, I was going to say, taking this is the right call here. I want him to swing. I could have used beige on the Zoro. I didn't want to do that. I want him to swing with the Zoro so I can keep attacking into his board. Right, that's what I'm trying to do here. Then he pauses. I'm like, whoa, did he predict something there? And he's like, okay, swinging in for 8. I'm going to let it go, and I'm going to send everything into this guy this turn. Right, I'm going to do whatever I can to take out this Zoro this turn, or at least like get all the cards from his hand. So swing 7 into an active character, because that's what Neko Mamushi can do. Neko Mamushi reads, attach 2, you can attack active characters. And trigger, play this card if you have 3 or less life. Okay, so right here I'm swinging 11 into 6. He has no way of getting out of that with 2 cards in hand and no Dawn open. So then I play out the Neko Mamushi from that effect. And now I'm kind of in lockdown mode. He needs to put everything into taking out my Neko Mamushi here. And he does, swing 8 into it. But that was not everything. Looking back, I probably should have countered out of that because he has 3 Dawn active. I don't know what for. I think I should have saved that card. Because this turn I could just attack into both of his blockers, or excuse me, both of his active characters, and then that's that. Okay, so I swing 7, playing out the Zoro. I want him to use the blocker here so I can take out the Sanji with Neko Mamushi. Okay, works out perfectly. Now I can, like I said, I can just easily eat up this Sanji, and he doesn't have anything. So the game's over now, right? Like there really is no way to climb out of this one. And and right there he just passed back. I don't know if that was a mistake or not, but I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna try to put this guy out of his misery at this point because like I said, he like waited and then passed the turn back. It wasn't like an instant pass back. It was like he drew his card and then just like passed a little, a second after that. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go all in. Your turn. Because this game was getting a little bit old. You know what I mean? And let's see, I think he actually gives up here very soon. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to spoil it. But like I said, he's just in a situation where it's like, what is he supposed to do? Like right here, swing 6. I'm obviously going to 2k counter out of this. GG. Okay, so what ended up happening, though, is he started attacking in before he could win the game. And if you can't take out those Neko Mamushis, they will start eating your board up. So like I said, I knew the game was about over. These Neko Mamushis have to go. It's like this deck's version of removal. You got to get rid of those as soon as you can. Okay, moving on to the next one. This one was really interesting. Got a purple-yellow Croc here. Lakers Croc. Big fan of this deck. Very big fan of this deck. And if you guys have not checked out Atakai TCG yet, he just put out a incredible. I'm going to bring that up on the side. Hang on, guys. I love helping out people in the community whenever I can. It means a lot to me. I have to show you guys what he just put out. For anyone who likes Lakers Croc, I think you will like the card that he just put out. Give me just a second, guys. Okay, let me bring it over. So this is Atakai-TCG.com. Check this out, guys. I just thought this was so incredible. For any of the people out there who really love Lakers Croc, this is probably a must-have. Now, understand, these cards that are like made by custom sites, they are not legal to use in like big tournaments, but most players locals will not care at all if you play a card like this. But yeah, big shout out to Atakai TCG. I'll have to have his stuff down in the comment section below as well. He's got all kinds of cool stuff on here, just custom art cards. I love supporting the artists, guys. I love supporting artists. Okay, back to the game. Sorry about that. I'm all over the place today, guys. I'm all over the place. But right here, we got Kikinojo swinging him for 7. I played that out for free last turn with my leader's effect. And now, guys, like, did we miss everything? Hang on a second, guys. We got to go back. Did I not pause it? I think I didn't pause it, guys. I think that was the problem. Okay, so I swung for 7 to play out the Kikinojo. He blasts breath to save it. Swings 6 into me. I 2K counter out. He plays Miss Wednesday. Okay, we're caught up now. Sorry about that, guys. Then he, excuse me, I swing for 7. Now I'm going to swing for 8, and I'm going to play out the Zonji. And I'm feeling pretty good right now. He's down to 2 life. I have 2 characters on the board. This is only his, is he on a 7 dawn turn? Swing 8 into 6. I'm going to save it. Or swing, I think it was swing 7. Excuse me, he swung 6 into 6, and I gave him a 2K counter. That's what it was. He keeps playing out all these little guys, but I'm not too worried about those, right? Like, those are not an issue for me. I'm going to swing 7 at face. Let's see what he does. He gets 2 Dawn back that turn. That's crazy. Those Miss Wednesdays are really what this deck needed. Like, they really, really needed that deck. Okay, that was a huge play there he just had, but I still can shut him down with the Arlong. I was going to swing for 8 with a Arlong to play out the other Arlong to stop his attack, and he was going to be in so much trouble right here. He plays out Kikinojo, which we know he's got 1 Dawn active. We know he's going to be able to play out Okama, or Okama My Way. But still, guys, look at how menacing my board is. I'm going to swing 7 at your face, basically 5 times here. Yep, 7, 7. He gives me some counters there. I didn't see all of them. 7 into 5. Okama My Way. Gain a life. I just don't even care, though, right? I'm just going to keep swinging in here. I think I play out the Onami here. Yeah, I do. So I force him to give me his blocker, or else I take that last card. So now I'm just going to swing 8 into your character. Your turn. I have a completely full board. I have 4K counter in hand, 3 life. There is no chance. Like, this guy, is in a lot of trouble here. Plays out a Yamato. That's nice. Pops one of my guys. I swing 7 at life. 7 at life. And now I really mess up here, guys, and it really tilted me. Why? Okay, now let me just say something real quick. That was still, I won, but it was still a play mistake. Because what if he had a Okama My Way? You see it on top there, the Okama Way. That was the next card in his deck as well. If he had another one of those, he could have swung my attack into his character. Yeah, it would have probably KO'd the character, but it doesn't matter. I was trying to win the game right there, and it would have messed things up. When I should have swung for 7 more, and then all the rest of my guy, I feel like. And actually, I could have gone for 5 with Onami, 5 with Zonji, and then the rest of my character, or with my leader if I needed to. Hope you guys see what I'm saying there. Okay, well, that's it, guys. There weren't a ton of games today for Arlong. I was surprised. Like, I did like this deck a lot better than I thought I would, because these are not my colors, okay? Yes, I do like colors that have yellow. There are some, I do, oh yeah, let me move my face real quick. I definitely dip into the yellow color pool for cards like Kikinojo here. I like Satori, I like Zonji. Beige, of course, but like a lot of these cards I don't really play very often, right? Like I've never even messed with this card yet. The 4-cost promo Zoro, definitely check that out. KO 4 or less from the trigger. Cracker I don't really play much of. Neko Mamushi I play with a little bit. I have this in a few decks, and then Reject I never play it. I just thought, I don't know, I'm kind of glad this card's getting banned. I think in the near future, I don't want to go too far off the off the topic today. But in a future video, I do want to talk about how, man, I think yellow's getting too much KO. Like, why is yellow getting KO? That should be, I feel like that should be black's version of removal. And I feel like yellow should not have KO. I feel like they should have ways to push cards out of the way into life. So that way, yes, it does like remove the card, but it's soft removal where it goes to their life, like with 8-cost Katakuri. But that's a topic for another video. Overall, guys, let me click green real quick while I'm talking about it. Overall, this list is very strong. I do like what's going on here. It's running like, what is this, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 46 triggers, guys. Did I count that right? Yeah, the only cards that are not triggers are Django and Draco Mihawk. Just incredible. Like, just very, very strong, guys. Very fun stuff, too. Oh, let me bring up yellow as well. Now, moving forward, and by the way, this is the Oviedo, Florida list. So, and I will leave this down in the comment section below, guys. I'm probably going to have like a whole paragraph in the comment section below linking everybody. But it's always worth it, of course, but I'm just saying it's going to be quite a read down there. But this is the list from Oviedo, Florida. Big grats to that guy. I think his name was Alex Barbosa. Let me see what his name was one more time. Yeah, Alex Barbosa. Big shout out to you, man. You know, grats on getting top 32 at a regional with Arlong. That's just incredible. You'd love to see stuff like that. Now, going forward, I do think there's going to be some argument to mess around with the Land of Wano version of Arlong, which is what we saw in one of the deck lists, right? Like, we did see that in, I think it was this list. This list does have, you know, the Land of Wano searchability stuff. It's got Kikinojo, Hiyori's, and stuff like that. And even this Zoro is Land of Wano you can search up. Izo is Land of Wano searchable. There's probably some argument there to keep going with that, you know, like with that direction, especially seeing cards like, you know, this see play with the new 1-cost Otama. This is the card I was talking about earlier, the new Land of Wano 1-cost 0-power 2K counter searcher. That is a top 5 Land of Wano searcher, guys. That's a 2K counter. This is just like Buena Fiesta for purple with film. Okay, and if you go the Land of Wano package, there's actually a ton of cards that are already trigger play this card. You know what I mean? If your opponent has 3 less life cards, play this card. Like Kawamatsu, Inuyarashi, Kikinojo, Nekomamushi. Now, Denjiro probably not, because it needs to be a 4-cost or lower card to get the full effect from Arlong. So probably not this card, but it's still an option. It's still an option. And then you have Zoro. So look at that was... And actually, this guy, Raizo, too, he has, when attacking, you may discard 1 card from your hand and rest up to one of your opponent's Dawn. This might be very, very nice going into OP-07, because this could help you get around the green Bonnie effect, right, and tap down their Dawn. And then, of course, you can play it for free from your life. So pretty solid stuff there. And any deck that runs red, you'll be able to tap down their one last Dawn that they use with Radical Beams and stuff. You'll have extra late game potential with cards like Momonosuke to go to life and Yamato. And that's what I want to talk about as well real quick, is it feels like this deck kind of runs out of steam because it is only running these 4-cost 5Ks and 4-cost 6Ks like Kikinojo, Arlong, and if you go Land of Wano, even potentially Ryuma. But, you know, it's running such a small, like, mid-level character package that going into the late game, when your opponent starts dropping these bigger characters, it does become hard to deal with it. But if you try to start making it more into the late game, playing out like, you know, Kazuki Momonosuke as a blocker, playing out Yamato to gain life and get another card from your deck to your life, you know, another potential trigger, I do think, all I'm going to say is this. I don't want to, you know, harp on it for too long. I'm like beating a dead horse here. But I do think there's some potential for this deck to go further into the late game. Sort of like how Yamato, green-yellow Yamato, we saw the aggro version at first, but then they slowly, you know, kind of went towards the fortress version of the build. Maybe Arlong will have that same potential. And like, yes, the overwhelming majority of the deck needs to be these little 4-cost trigger cards so that you can have some value from your leader late in the game. But until then, you know, we do have to... I don't know. We're going to have to do a lot of playtesting. And I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. Because in OP-07, I don't know how to search up like exact sets over here. It says adding this plus the number will search cards up of a certain set. So let's try 7. Okay. No, I think that's showing everything up to that point. Sorry, guys. I don't know how to search up the exact sets, but they are typically like in pretty good order down here. Like here's OP-06 stuff, and here's OP-07 stuff. It's like all in a row. Another card like to consider. No, not even. I was going to say like these supernova cards. Like this card, you can't even use as a blocker unless your leader is supernova. Now this card you could still use the Jewelry Bonnie, but it's not a 4 cost that has trigger. So it just see that's the thing about Arlong. Like I was talking about this a little bit earlier in the beginning, right? Like talking about his effect. He needs a certain kind of card in his deck that is a 4 cost or lower trigger card. You need an abundance of those cards in your deck in order to get the full value out of this card. Now, yes, you still can play cards like this. They don't all have to be triggers. Obviously, I'm not saying they need to be. But there's already this incredible Land of Wano package like already built in, you know, to the green and yellow card pool. So it's one of those things where, oh gosh, guys, I'm sorry. This can't even search up the yellow Land of Wano stuff. Now, Momonosuke can, like wherever Momo is. I don't know, where did he go? There he is. Now, Momonosuke, he can just, pay 1, tap this character, look at the top 5 of your deck, and reveal up to 1 Land of Wano character. That card can, but the 1 cost Wano Searcher, the new one, Otama, cannot. So that's a real bummer. That's a real bummer. It's like they're figuring it out for certain leaders, but for other leaders... So this being locked to green cards inherently hurts a deck like Arlong from getting better. So it's like, okay, and I get it. I understand why they're doing it. I'm not complaining, but I'm saying, all right, now they need to do that for something like Arlong, where there's like some 4 cost cards that maybe they only have a trigger if Arlong is your leader. You know what I'm saying? Something along those lines. And they could print, I know they can do that. We've already seen them do that with Vegapunk, right? Like, let me type in Egghead. Like, if you look at the Egghead stuff, like, look at this. If you look at Lilith here, look at her trigger. If your leader is Vegapunk, you can play this card. They need to do that now with Arlong. Arlong needs a whole set of cards, I feel like, that are basically, if your leader is Arlong, play this card for the trigger exclusive. That's what the trigger would say. Okay, good stuff here. Same with this one, man. Now, imagine something like this Nico Robin in Arlong. Imagine if Arlong had a card that was like a 3 cost 5k with no counter or something, so that way you could play it from hand, I'm saying. Or, excuse me, yeah, play it from your hand with your leader effect. But imagine if Arlong had a 3 cost 5k with no counter and that trigger, but it said Arlong instead of Egghead type. Or Fishman Pirates, whatever. That would just be incredible. Now, going forward, this will probably be a pretty decent card in Arlong. This is one of the few cards that I think Arlong does get from OP-07, where, hey, this is just like your new Satori. But now you will be able to have access, to Satori and this card and the Hachan card, this little Hachan dudes. That's some really solid bodies that are 2k counters to get out of life. And maybe that will replace the Dracula Mihawk, something like that. So really cool stuff there. For those who don't know, this is a trigger, draw 1 card. Then if you have 1 or less life, play this card. So again, it's another reason to aggressively take life so you can get all your other triggers like Hikinojo, like Nekomamushi. And then when your life gets low enough, this card could pop up and save you, right? Or give you the attack you need to win the game. This card, not so much because it's a 5 cost, but it's still probably a card worth considering. This one, this is a trigger, 4 cost 5k, 2k counter. Now, with the trigger, you would not be able to play this card out from life, but it'd still be a 2k counter in hand, but you can play it out of your leader's effect, right? Because your leader's just looking for a 4 cost or lower character that has trigger. Well, this card we were just looking at, was his name, Edison, he has that. And then on play, if you have 2 or less life, draw 2 and trash 2 from your hand. So maybe this becomes a way for you to cycle out cards you need. This could have some potential going forward with Arlong. We'll have to mess with that. We'll have to mess with that as it comes up. But everything else, not really. Like this is, a top 5 searcher for Egghead. This is a 5 Egghead for the leader. Yeah, that's kind of it, I think, guys. Y'all tell me if I missed anything. But otherwise, good stuff. All right, guys, I'm done. I'm done rambling about this. Y'all tell me if I missed anything. I do not main Arlong. I do not play a lot of green-yellow decks. I don't even play much Yamato, the premier green-yellow deck currently. So you guys help me out on this one. I might need, in the comment section below, tell me what I'm missing. Tell me what kind of spice OP-07 is going to be able to give Arlong. All right, that's it. I'm done. Let me go ahead and put up the sponsor page here, the patrons. Big shout out to my sponsor at Moonlight TCG. Thank you to all the patrons. Thank you to everyone who watches my channel, guys. Thank you all for liking, viewing, sharing, subscribing, commenting, all that stuff, guys. all that stuff. So I really do appreciate y'all. Okay, that's it, guys. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.